How did you get onto Beast Games? I've got to know.
How did I get on? One of the contestants that I did Survivor with, his son Gio, I believe he's like 11 or 12 now. He was on one of the 100 people, and I think he was like, and it's like ages from anywhere from like, I don't know, 8 to 100 years old. And so his son like won that like YouTube thing. And so I was watching that just because of Jesse. And I saw that they were doing applications for season 2, and Jesse sent it to me. And I didn't watch the whole season 1. I just watched the first couple episodes, and I saw that they were giving away money
Yeah.
and like a ton of money in the first episode. And I had absolutely no interest in like trying to stay the whole time because it was in the middle of my track season.
Oh.
So I was just trying to get in and out, make as much money as possible. But why I applied and I got on. But of course, it was a completely different show than it was the first season.
Hmm.
Ended up being like 100 of the smartest people versus 100 of the strongest people. I'm on the strong team. And like, yes, I consider myself strong, but like I'm on the strong team with like bodybuilders, like pro
Hmm.
fighters, like professional athletes, these just huge people, CrossFitters, and I have my running blade over my shoulder, and I'm like, sup, want some quick cash.
Did how did like how did you get out of it? Like, did you just fail a challenge on purpose or something?
No,
I saw that you were on it, but
yeah, so because we had to fly to Vegas, and I think there was 200 of us from the start, and then if you made it past that first round in Vegas, they were going to fly everybody to the next location.
Mhm.
And I literally had like 1 week. Like my agent gave me 1 week because I had a speech booked that next week that I could not get out of. And so like I was literally giving my phone away, and my agent Kim was like, "Are you sure you're going to be able to be back in time?" Like I was like, "Listen, I am not trying to be in this for the long haul. My coach will literally kill me if I'm literally off the grid for a month. I'm not
Mhm.
trying to do that." So luckily the challenge was like the most insane thing you could ever think of. It was like I was scaling from like a platform 30 feet in the air. And I think I would be able to do it. It's just like one of my things, like pieces broke. And so like it was just I was hanging, like trying to do. I took my leg off for it. It was
Wow.
so I mean it was just something that wasn't really amputee friendly, but I was completely fine with that. I
Mhm.
wanted to do like what everyone else was doing. I wanted to do crazy stuff. But yeah, he didn't offer any money in the first episode. I was hoping that it wouldn't even get to that point. I honestly was hoping I wouldn't even have to do a challenge, and he'd be like, "All right, I'll offer $10,000 for somebody to just pull out right now." And like I was getting married like 3 months later, so I was just
Mhm.
trying to grab some cash for the wedding.
That makes
Um,
sense. I mean, um, you're saying, "Oh yeah, give $10,000." You'd have to act sad. Oh shoot, I lose the challenge. ten thousand
They're like,
dollars. I
yeah,
guess I'll
I guess
take it.
I guess I'll do it, whatever. It's like I'm like during my application process, they're like, "What's the amount of money you would?" I was like, "I will never quit. Like I will never leave." And it's like, no, like I'm so like I don't even consider myself really on Beast Games season 2 because like
Yeah.
I didn't go through like what the entire cast went through and like going through different locations and stuff. Like it was just something really cool that I did for like literally 5 days. And I got to meet awesome people, which was very cool. And I got to watch, the season play out. So that was really cool.
Do you think a lot of people do that?
What? Just try to
D-
sign up and do
yeah.
quick cash? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think a lot of people were trying to do that. I mean, they would never admit it because obviously nobody wants to work with somebody that's like it literally I remember people saying like, "All right guys, no bribes." Like nobody's accepting a bribe. I'm like, "Yeah, no bribes everybody. Whatever I get offered, I'm literally taking it." Like, and there were only a couple people that knew that because there were a couple people from my season of Survivor that I was doing it with. And I told them like beforehand, like because we knew that we got casted. I was like, listen,
Hmm.
I'm not in it for the long haul. I'm in and out. And so luckily, like they weren't gonna blow up my game or anything. But yeah,
Did you deal with Mr. Beast? I think his name's Jimmy, right? Did you see him at all or no?
Yeah, I saw him a couple times. He literally came up to me and right before we were about to do the challenge, and he was like, "All right, so let's just address the elephant in the room." And the camera was like on me, and it was like literally like chest up, and then they put the camera down to my prosthetic leg, and they were like, and then they put it back to Jimmy's face, and they were like, "So how do you measure up? How do you think you measure up with the rest of the competition?" And I was like, I was talking so much trash. I was like, yeah, all these people are smoked. I'm like, I'm the only ODP here. I'm going to kill everybody. It's like literally 5 seconds later, I got eliminated. So it was
Well,
very,
I mean, so you did get, just need to clarify, you did get the money, right?
I didn't win anything. No, because I got
Oh!
eliminated. I got eliminated.
Oh, you did, yeah, okay.
They didn't offer any money in the first episode. They didn't offer money until, I don't know, episode 2 or 3, I believe.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So,
I'm
but
sure a lot of people do it just because they wanna get on his, on what was it, Amazon Prime it's on? They just wanna be
yeah,
on TV.
yeah. I mean, it's like, oh my god, like my life's gonna change. I'm on Beast Games too, and it's like, listen, like we're gonna
Not
get
really.
all the people that got like, because 100 people got eliminated in that first challenge. Like half, they
Jeez.
were cutting the cast in half, and I was like, listen, like we're probably not gonna get airtime. I'm like, they're not gonna focus on us. Like it makes sense. Like I understand kind of how it works a tiny bit, just going through everything I went through with Survivor. So like I had like zero expectations.
Mhm.
I think I like kind of knew that they were probably gonna show my prosthetic leg, but other than that, like it
Yeah.
was like I literally was like this on the screen. Like if you blink, you would miss me. So and like I was fine with that. Like I posted one thing saying I was on it, and then like I didn't post after that because I was like I don't really deserve to post.
You
Yeah.
probably like it that way. I mean, you get to go have a cool experience, and you don't have to deal with the big cameras in your face and all the pressure of that, but
Listen, and that show is crazy because like there's no guaranteed money. Like with
mhm.
Survivor, like the longer you make it, like every person gets paid based off of their placement. Like Beast Games, you could be runner up and you could go home with literally nothing. Like obviously, there's a good chance that like you could make some money along the way, but that's just something I wasn't willing to risk. I mean, literally gone 6 to 8 weeks, and say if you're gone 4 weeks and then you get eliminated and you get absolutely nothing, like I would be pissed. So
Yeah, I would be too.
it's just that's the risk that you want to take. I mean, it's a lot of people want to take that risk because $5 million are up for grabs. So I get it, but
Mhm.
I was just I was at a point. The timing just didn't work out. It was literally in the smack dab middle of my season. Like I had to do some heavy convincing with my coach just to give me like a few days off. I'm like, listen, like I'm not going to be gone a while. Like just let me do this. And he was like, all right, see if you can go make some money.
Yeah, you imagine you're like you call him, you're like, "This is real, like, I'm gonna stay here."
Yeah,
Imagine how mad.
I wouldn't even be able to do that though. Like, cause they take your phone. They literally take your phone like the second you get there. So it was yeah. The only person that was really concerned was my agent, just because I had a really big speech that was planned well in advance. And it's just like you have no excuse to cancel. Like, and I was just like, I committed to them. I gave them my word. Like, I can't pull out of this. So
Yeah,
either way, like even if I made it past that first challenge, I really would have been in a dilemma where I probably would have had to just leave and not go to
yeah.
the next location. So
How is Survivor? Like, I know I don't know a lot about those shows.
yeah.
What was the process of getting onto Survivor? I know you were referred by someone you were on Survivor with to get onto Beast Games, like sorta. But how did you get onto Beast or Survivor?
Yeah, I was actually recruited for that show. When I was in Tokyo for the 2021 Paralympic Games,
Hmm.
casting director DM'd me on Instagram asking if I've ever thought about applying. And I've watched the show for years because my mom is like the biggest diehard fan there is. Never miss a season, never miss an episode. So I've known of the show. I just really had no interest in applying just because one, I was an amputee and I was an above the knee I'm an above the knee amputee, and there's never
Hmm.
been an above the knee amputee on the show before. And so I was just thinking, is this even going to be possible? How am I going to be able to do this? But I mean, I just went through the casting process and I got casted on the show, and honestly it was such an incredible experience, and I played the game with such incredible people. I was so concerned about like having a prosthetic leg out there because you literally are living in the conditions of you're living in a jungle, and
Hmm.
Like you get zero food, you don't get a bed, you don't get a toilet. Like you're literally living in those conditions. And so kind of maneuvering that with a prosthetic leg, because when I lose weight, my leg loses weight, and how my
Oh
leg is
yeah.
attached to my body, it's suctioned on. So figuring out all different ways to keep my prosthetic leg sectioned onto my body while doing all these crazy challenges. Like it was just something that luckily I have an incredible prosthetist in New Hampshire. And so he was helping me through kind of everything that I needed. And we were communicating with the casting department and production with whatever they're going to allow me to bring that's not going to give me an advantage in the game. They allowed me to. So production was incredible, but no, it was a great experience. It was awesome.
I didn't even think of that. Thinking about the prosthetic and how it fits,
Yeah.
that wouldn't even have crossed my mind. That's such a good point, though. I mean, you
Yeah.
lose 30 pounds, it might fall off.
Oh
But
yeah. Like I started feeling it literally like day 5. I was like stuffing pads in my socket, like just to keep my leg on. And like prosthetic legs usually don't mesh well with salt and sand.
no, I wouldn't
They
think.
they literally tell you to stay away from it if you don't have a waterproof prosthetic or anything like that. And so like living in those conditions, I had to have backups for everything. Like all my screws were getting rusted. Like I had to interchange them and all these different types of things. But
Jeez.
luckily it worked out. I was able to do it. I lasted pretty far. I made it like 20 days out of 26.
Hmm.
I knew nobody was going to let me get to the end though. Like I knew nobody was going to want to sit next to me because like Survivor, like you have a final 3, the jury votes for the
Oh,
winner.
okay.
Like nobody was going to want to sit next to me because people would think that I'd be $1 million just going through the entire experience and being able to. But like how I viewed it is like if I ever did get to the final 3, I would literally tell the jury, if you are thinking of voting for me just because I have a prosthetic leg and I'm sitting here, like, don't give me the $1 million. Like, I want to earn it. Um, but of course, I mean, it was literally my number one, the guy that I was literally just talking to you about, Jesse. He
Hmm.
was the one that kind of voted me off. He was
Oh,
that, yeah. He was like, "All right, I can't bring you any further, Noelle, or you just can't." I was gaining a lot of momentum at that point of the game, and I had started to make a couple moves. I had a really inspirational comeback challenge win, and so like everyone was like, "All right, get this girl out of here," because like it's getting to a point where like we don't want to sit next to her at the end. So
you finished 8th though, so that's
yeah,
not bad. I mean,
smart.
that's probably as high as you can go without like not the sympathy vote, but like, do you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
pretty good.
no, yeah. And listen, I just wanted to make the jury. That's like the number one thing that people strive for when they get out there is to make the
Hmm.
jury, because if you make the jury, like you have a decision in who wins the game, like your fate, like you're still a part of the game even when you get voted off. Like you don't have to go home. Like people that get voted off pre-merge, like they tend to have no say in who wins the game. So that was like the number one thing that I cared about. So when I got voted off, like obviously it sucked, but I was just like, all right, like I
Kind of
made it.
expected it.
Yeah, I made it far. Like it's there's no hard feelings. Like I'm not gonna be bitter. Like everyone was great, respectful. Like and like I understand why I'm being voted off. Like I'm starting to gain momentum. I'm a threat. So that's how I chose to exit the game. A lot of people like can't really swallow the tough pill of being blindsided, but you view it as some sort of sign of respect in a
Yeah.
way.
So talking about your story, um, do you want to explain a little bit how this happened?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I, grew up as an athlete, never went through a period of time where I wasn't being active in some sort of way. And I was a 3-sport varsity athlete in high school, received the Division I scholarship to play lacrosse at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, had an incredible freshman season. And then after my freshman year, I was involved in a moped accident that caused me to lose my left leg above the knee. And I had that instant thought right when I lost my leg of, is this going to be the rest of my life? Am I ever going to be able to walk again? Am I going to be able to run? Like what's going to be my new form of life? And luckily, having the support that I did in the hospital, I had a ton of the Boston Marathon survivors reach out. A few of them came to visit me, and kind of hearing their stories and everything that they've been through, that really snapped me out of my funk. And it made me realize, listen, nobody did this to me. I did this to myself. And they were the first people to tell me I'd be able to live the life that I wanted to. My life is going to change, yes, but it doesn't have to change for the worse. It's all about how I viewed it and kind of my mindset going in. So I had a goal very early on that I didn't want to let the accident define the rest of my life. And so I had another goal that I wanted to return playing Division I lacrosse. And no above the knee amputee had ever played collegiate lacrosse before, but I'm a very stubborn person, and I really wanted to work my way back on the field, and I was actually able to return playing my junior season. I was able to score a goal in my first game back, and it was incredible because of the teammates in my because of my teammates and coaches. I mean, they took the time and the energy to get me back on the field. I mean, I worked with my assistant coach before and after practice every single day, just working on footwork drills and just getting myself comfortable with being an amputee. But I was never treated like somebody with a disability. They never treated me like somebody who was broken. So having that really is a huge reason why I never went through a depression, why I never went through a difficult time, is because I had those people to lean on. And that's why I'm so grateful for that. And when I graduated college is when I transitioned to track and field. Never competed in the sport in my entire life, but I didn't want to hang up my athletic career just yet. I wanted to kind of try to ride being an athlete as long as possible. And so I started competing and had pretty great success early on, was able to qualify for world championships, for the Tokyo Paralympic Games, and then recently Paris 2024, and now currently leading up to LA. So now I am a full-time athlete, full-time professional athlete. It is my job. And it's great because like my life never really changed after college. Like obviously having that structure and managing and juggling, like doing sports and classes, like it prepared me for leading into this next chapter in my life. So I am disciplined. Like I know what needs to be done to kind of achieve something. But yeah, it's been an incredible journey so far, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. It really doesn't. But right now I am taking a little bit of a break because I'm almost 8 months pregnant.
It's a good reason.
Yeah. So I'm doing July, but it's happening at the perfect time because it's an off year for us, and then we have World Championships in 2027, and then the LA Games in 2028. So it's just going to give me a little bit more motivation. But yeah, it's just training through this pregnancy has been, something that's been very humbling to say the least. But obviously, it's such an incredible journey so far, and I'm really excited for the future.
If what I read is right, I think you are wildly skimming over this fact that you had you trained for 2 weeks and then you went to, was it I Indiana to do the Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Way wrong. But
No, it's close.
you qualified for Team USA in your first trial run.
Yeah, my very first race. So I literally, when I was trying to start competing in track and field, I just found the first para track and field meet that I could. And it was, yeah, like you said, 2 weeks away. I was in Arizona, and I didn't even have a track coach. Didn't really know what I was doing. I have, I still work with her to this day, but I have a trainer in New Hampshire. And so we kind of were just Googling, what we needed to do, the mechanics of coming out of starting blocks. But by the time the race rolled around, I was 10% confident in my athletic abilities. I was just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to run in a straight line, hope for the best. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But I actually realized the entire U.S. Paralympic track and field team was going to be there, all the head coaches, and I was competing against the reigning national champion. So it was a pretty big race for somebody to have their first ever track meet. And so I just kind of looked at it as, all right, this girl's just going to be in front of me. She's going to be motivating me to go faster. Don't have any expectations. But that was the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life leading up to that point, because I had never competed an individual sport before. It was
Yeah, you've
always,
got so many people supporting you when you're on a team. It doesn't feel like you're at like it would be a lot less nerve-wracking if there's so many people around you, but if it's just
yeah.
you out there.
And it's crazy because like the 100 meter is like, there's no room for mistakes. I mean, you do something, one little thing wrong, like, and chances are like you're not going to win the race, or you're not going to get the time that you want.
Mhm.
It's, you get a certain amount of seconds. And when people are training for the 100 meter, it's very difficult to cut off a second. So people are trying to cut off milliseconds. And so I was just honestly just, I obviously time myself doing a 100 meter, but it's different. Like, you know, you don't have the adrenaline, you don't have people running next to you to kind of help. And so when I crossed the finish line, I literally beat the reigning national champion, but I also hit the qualifying times to be a part of the U.S. Paralympic national track and field team. And I always credit that to, you know, training alongside people with two legs the 2 years prior to that, because I was, you know, every time we did a run test or a run drill and I came in last place, I had to do 10 burpees. So like it was preparing me for this one race. And
Mhm.
obviously I'm a competitive person. Like you put me in a scenario that with a starting gun, like I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the race. Does that mean it was pretty? Absolutely not. Like I had no idea what running form was. I ran with a lacrosse stick for, you know, I don't know, 14 years of my life. So running form and using your arms, I had absolutely no idea. But luckily after that meet, I found a coach in Boston, and I found a training partner, Famida Ayambeku. She's a below the knee amputee, 3-time Paralympian. She took me under her wing and literally just treated me like a sister. And I'm so grateful for that, because that really helped me get introduced to the track and field world. Like I never felt like somebody who was on the outs. Like she introduced me to everybody, which was awesome. And then so going to world championships, I kind of had somebody
Mhm.
to, you know, lean on a little bit. You know, it's always finding that support wherever you can to kind of help you in situations that make you uncomfortable. I'm somebody who swears by that. So yeah.
Um, Running with a prosthetic, how I mean, obviously, I wouldn't know, but there's like phantom pains and stuff. There's also when you're running, I don't realize it because I don't think about it, but there's like a subconscious feeling of where you are in air. How do you deal? Is that still there, or do you just is it not there anymore?
I mean, so it's crazy because now, like, obviously, I mean, I remember what it was like to run with two legs, but your goal when you're using a running blade is you want it to be comfortable enough where it feels like you have two legs. Like it doesn't feel like you're running with a prosthetic leg. Obviously, you know, I still get phantom limb, I still get phantom pain. The phantom pain comes and goes. It's just like it's like being sore after a tough workout, or
Hmm.
if my limb, I worked it really hard in practice and it's sore. Like that's typically where they come into play. But it's all about adapting. You know, the first time I ever put my running blade on, I was harnessed on a treadmill and I couldn't run for more than 10 seconds at a time because it was obviously something completely different. You know, I'm not just missing a foot, I am missing a knee. And so the knee is the hardest part because I need to be able to control that the best that I can. And if I take one step, the knee will give in and I'm on my ass. So I'm falling. So it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of me falling and kind of understanding how the blade works. And that's where like lacrosse came into play perfectly, because I'm doing footwork drills to the point where I'm trying to get as comfortable as possible so I don't have to worry about the lower half of my body when I am playing lacrosse. And so transitioning to track and field, and when I'm sprinting and doing all these different mobility drills, I have that confidence in my leg. You know, the limb that I have left, we try to pump as much muscle as we can into it. It's
Hmm.
not like when I'm in the weight room, I'm only focusing on my sound side. I am trying to do equal squats. Like I'm trying to put a just amount of weight on it, if not more, you know, on my amputation side than I am on my real leg side. But it's all about alignment as well. So this is where your prosthetist comes into play, and your prosthetic company plays a huge part, because when you get a running blade or even a walking prosthetic, they will watch you walk, they will watch you run, and they will be able to see things from straight on and to the side that you can't really feel, and they can make those adjustments where, so for sprinting, my alignment is where I am landing on the blade is a lot different than somebody who is just getting a running blade just to go for a run. I have it completely on the toe as much as I can without the blade being able to give in. And so that's just something you have to get used to when I'm sprinting, because the blade needs to compress and project me forward into the right direction to help me with my stride and to allow me to be as fast as possible. So that's really where that comes into play. The type of knee that I have when I'm sprinting, it is completely silent and it gives no reassurance. So when I am sprinting and swinging my blade forward, it's all about the feeling, and it's all about, okay, it's all the way up. It's like when you're sprinting, you want to keep your knees up as high as possible. You don't want to keep them low. Like, you want to have good running form. It's honestly the same. But being an above the knee amputee versus a below the knee amputee, this is where it's incredibly more difficult, just because we are missing that knee joint and we're trying to control a prosthetic leg that's not really ours. That's, this is where you make adjustments. You can make adjustments on my running blade in probably 5 or 6 different places. And loosening bolts, it's tightening the resistance on my knee to see how fast my knee swings forward and swings back, like, and putting resistance on it. It's all trial and error, and it's all literally you just showing up to a track or in your prosthetist office and testing it out and seeing what works for you. But that's where it becomes very difficult when you're just trying to fine tune things and make it perfect so that it can give you, the best return possible, so that you are, competing at a very high level.
So now with your running blade, is there a difference between when you're doing 100-meter sprints, or I know you recently transitioned into long jump. Is there a different blade for that?
Yeah, so they're 2 completely different legs, 2 completely different setups.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wow.
Which is crazy, and like, kind of, it's not to the point where I'm putting it on, I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't. It's usually like, if I warm up with that leg, I'm good to go. And then but it's if I have to switch back and forth and run over without warming up and like do an event, that's usually where it's a little different, just because my jumping blade is a lot taller than my sprinting blade, just because the blade compresses. We want the blade to compress so much where it can give me that return and it can give me more height advantage when I'm jumping. But you don't want to make yourself too tall where it affects your sprinting, because the only thing that matters in the long jump is the speed that you bring into the jump. And so you want to be able to find that perfect that perfect sweet spot in the height. But the difference with it being is just, I would say, the return on the blade and how it compresses, because you don't really want something that compresses too much when you're sprinting, because then that can affect your hips. But yeah, 2 completely different legs, completely different alignments. Something that I'm still trying to figure out right now, like, just perfect.
Yeah, I'm sure you mess with it all the time, like, just constantly changing things.
All the time. Yeah, I mean, literally all last season, it was like every practice we were messing with something. Because, like, obviously, like, my coach can see certain things that, like, I can feel. And say when you plant, because all amputees usually jump off of their prosthetic leg. They don't really jump off of their sound side, just because they try to use the blade as much as they can. And here's where the people on social media will come into play saying, well, that's cheating. Like, it's an advantage. No. It's like, all right, we're competing against people with the same disability as us. 1, 2, I compete in college meets all the time and I get my ass kicked. Why is that? It's because I don't bring the same amount of speed that I do as somebody with 2 legs when I'm making the jump. Do I still jump further than some able-bodied athletes? Absolutely. But I'm not competing against them. When I'm competing in a college meet, I'm competing solely against myself. I'm just trying to get the best mark or time that I can so that I can go towards world rankings. The only time
Mhm.
that I'm actually competing against other people is when I'm at national championships, world championships, or the Paralympic Games. It's and so that's where like they're always like, that's a cheat code, like you're literally flying in the air, and I'm like, I would love to see you try this.
Yeah, it seems extremely hard. And you don't want it too. You're talking about compression earlier. You don't want it too tall because then you're going to be running wonky. And then once you get there, it compresses a lot and you probably go further. But if you get more speed, then you're probably going to go further.
Yep.
I couldn't. It's so you're a T63. You compete in that section. That's correct, right?
Yep. So T63 just means above the knee amputees. So when you're going into say if somebody wanted to get into the Paralympic Games and they have a disability, say if somebody had cerebral palsy or they were visually impaired, they're in a wheelchair, they have to go through something called classification. And so basically it's like a doctor's appointment. You walk into a room. Some classifications are a lot more thorough than others. My classification was literally 30 seconds because it's very self-explanatory. I'm literally cut right above the knee, so I'm an above the knee amputee. But say if somebody has cerebral palsy, they have to literally go through a series of tests in that room, and then they watch them run on the track. And then they will put you into a category that you are competing against people with either the same disability as you or something similar. So when I'm
Right.
competing in the 100-meter, I am not just competing against above the knee amputees. I actually compete against two female athletes that have two legs. One has a club foot, and one has I don't know what her condition is. And this is where it's like, okay, like, is it fair?
Right.
For me, no, it's not. But here's what I will say, like every classification group has something, like everybody deals with it. It's just there's not enough people like them to have their own category, so they group them together because they run similar times. But it's so funny whenever I go to like a Paralympic Games or a World Championships, and obviously I'm getting beat by these girls with two legs, and I
Yeah.
got all my family and friends texting me afterwards like, "Who is this chick with two legs?" And I'm like, "Listen, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing they can do." Have they taken a medal away from me a couple times? Yeah, that kind of sucks. But listen, it's not just happening to me. Like everyone kind of deals with it. But yeah, so you get placed into a category. So and then the Paralympics kind of groups everybody together based off of what you like, what your times are, and different things like that.
And I'm sure with your lacrosse team, they didn't treat you any differently. So it was good on them for doing that. So you didn't feel out of place, but it was also good for you because you never felt any different. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it pushes you further. Like you don't actually think, oh yeah, I can't do this. I have I have a prosthetic leg, and
Oh,
a
believe
lot.
me, I cried too. Like I practice, I'd be like, "Listen, coach, like I don't know if I can do this. One leg." Like I try to get at a run test, and they'd be like, "No, shut the hell up and get on the line."
Yeah.
But
Sorry,
no,
it really hurts today.
yeah, it really does. But no, it's just having that tough mindset. But also, of course, in the beginning, like I was self conscious of having a prosthetic leg. I would wear pants a lot, but that's where my incredible friends, came into play, and they just said, "Listen, Noelle, like you just have to own it. Like if you own it." And your persona, like you're portraying a message out, or you're portraying like to everybody else that you're okay with this accident, then like that's how everyone else is going to treat you. So that's
Right.
really early on. That's like I would use my sense of humor kind of as a coping mechanism, like for me to kind of deal with what I was going through, but also to make everybody else feel comfortable around me, because that was like the one thing I didn't want people to treat me any differently, to feel sorry for me. Like I know still to this day, like I'm walking in a store and somebody looks at me and they feel sorry for me just because I have a prosthetic leg. And I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 times, people with a disability, they don't feel sorry for themselves. They don't even view themselves as somebody who's disabled. I honestly
Right.
forget that I'm an amputee. The only time that I'm humbled is when I walk upstairs and I'm like, all right, this sucks. Like this is like, all right, I'm an amputee. But like every single day I wake up and I put my leg on and I go to practice, or I do different things just like I would in my everyday life if I had two legs. And it's crazy kind of the mindset I have towards my accident. Like I honestly view it as something that's like extremely positive, and I view it as something that I'm grateful for, because I was that person and that athlete like before my accident. I always say I was a little shit. Like I didn't really go through a difficult time. I never really went through, a tough injury. Like I had an incredible support system with my family, my parents. And, I took it for granted because I would show up at practice and just go through the motions. And like, I felt like I didn't need to put in any extra work. I mean, luckily I was a natural gifted athlete, but when I received a scholarship, I thought the work was done. I was like, okay, I got a scholarship. There's no extra work to be done. And that's really where the work should have started. And, in the classroom, I never really went above and beyond in my schoolwork. I was still very fortunate enough to get into a great college, but I always remember sitting on the sidelines before having a prosthetic leg thinking, what if I applied myself? Would I be playing at one of the top Division I programs in the country right now? Would I have even lost my leg? So kind of having this accident happen to me it needed to happen at the point of my life because I was just going down a road where I was lazy and I was just going through the motions.
That's a good outlook to have on it. Like it needed to happen, or else you wouldn't be where you are.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm asking a lot of questions about it because I find it really cool that you've done all that you've done with a prosthetic leg. But do you think people focus on that? Like they see you and that, like, they focus on that only? They don't focus on like you. They're just like, oh wow, she's an athlete with a prosthetic leg, not an athlete. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's 100% the first thing people think of when they see me, especially like on a track or at the gym. They look at me and they're like, they see what I'm doing and they're like, what is this girl like? Oh my god, like you are such an inspiration. And it's like literally like when I'm walking in an airport, like people come up to me and say I'm such an inspiration, just literally for walking. And it's like I really appreciate it, and like I know you're coming from a good place, but it's just technology nowadays with prosthetic legs and just where we've come with the disabled kind of movement and the
Mm-hmm.
community. It's like I don't want to say there's never been a time to where it's been better to be disabled, but like we're finally getting that recognition we deserve. I mean, obviously there's still more work to be done, with it leading up to LA and stuff. Like these athletes we're trying to get as much sponsors as possible. We're trying to get as much exposure, but it's crazy that that's still like in people's head. It's obviously the first thing that people are going to see. And it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, I don't really care. Honestly, like if people think I'm a badass for what I'm doing because I have a prosthetic leg, then what I will say to you is, what's your excuse? Like, if I'm doing this, then why can't you? If you
Right.
view me as somebody like, oh my God, how is she doing this? Like, it shouldn't be possible. It's like, it is possible. And if you don't believe that you can do that or do what I am doing, it's solely because you're being lazy or you are creating excuses for yourself. And so I am a huge testament of, if I can do it, so can anybody else. And that's, what really drives me when I do all these, crazy new adventures that I have, all these shows that I do, or a couple shows that I do, but like all these different things, is putting yourself in an uncomfortable position just because it's going to make you realize, and it's going to make you real like kind of the person you want to become, and it's going to make you learn a lot about yourself. And it's going to those are the best moments in life, is like when
Yeah.
you're not expecting something, or when you're learning a lot about yourself and you're putting yourself in a very uncomfortable position, because it's just, all right, how am I going to do this? How am I going to
Mm-hmm.
maneuver through this? And it creates a memory and it creates a journey. It's like people always say like, everything you've been able to accomplish. I'm like, yeah, but the ending is never the best part. It's always the journey that it took to get to the end.
And I'm sure it's a lot of pressure. You were just saying how, oh, you're an inspiration walking through the airport. Like it must be a lot of like, geez, thanks. Okay, all right, all right. Just gonna keep walking. But it must be a lot of pressure to always be an inspiration. Always be, oh my god, wow, look at her. She's in the gym. I can't believe she's doing this. Like just, you probably just want to be left alone sometimes. I mean, it's hard because it is something that everybody sees, but I'm sure it gets a little, not irritating, but something that gets old quick.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, like if somebody takes the time to say something nice to me, I will never brush
No,
them off.
right.
I will always say like I really appreciate it. Obviously, there's times on the track where I'm literally dying and like somebody will come up to me and it's a guy that's in a knee brace and he's trying to compare, his knee surgery to my leg amputation. And it's just like, listen, it's not the same thing. Like I kind of understand where you're coming from, um but I mean, at the end of the day, people give me compliments, and and it's like I don't even want to say like I get recognized all the time. Like I don't get recognized all the time from being on Survivor. Like it's every once in a while, like somebody will come up to me and say, "Were you that girl with the prosthetic leg?" And every single time someone comes up to me and like wants to talk about Survivor with me, like of course, like I will I am never going to brush them off and be like, "Oh my god, I just want to be left alone." It's like, cuz who am
Yeah.
I? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. You're at like the perfect level where you get to talk to cool people, but like you can leave your house and have a good potential of like just having a
Not
completely
yeah,
normal day.
yes, and having a normal yeah, people are always like, "She's a celeb." I'm like, "I am literally the furthest thing from a celebrity." I'm like, I do not view myself as that. I literally am a regular human being. I was on a reality television show once. Incredible experience. Did my life change afterwards? I mean, like it changed in a way of like this was such a cool experience and like yeah, like I can view myself as a badass for doing something like that, but no, like I'm not. I didn't have to quit my day job because I was on some show. Like I just view it as just an incredible journey that I was on that I can kind of use towards the future and use towards like working and trying to accomplish whatever I want to next in my life. But no, yeah, I will say. I mean, and it's crazy because like I hear a lot of people like amputees. They always say like it's always tough when people like come up to you and they think that we lost our legs in the military or stuff like that, and like that's happened to me a few times, and it's just like, listen, just correct them and go about your day. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's people make the mistakes. And I get it, like, but at the end of the day, they're not trying to be mean. They're just trying
Right.
to connect with you. And like that's what I would rather have. I would rather have somebody come up to me and ask me questions than just stare at me. Like that's
Unless it's like a little kid, then it's probably
then
okay.
you mess
But
with them. Then you just
yeah.
mess with kids. And that's the most fun part. And that's what I always do. I always mess with the little kids. It's so funny because you'll hear a kid saying, "Mom, she doesn't have a leg," and the parents are so embarrassed and they're like scooting the kid away. Do not do that. Like, let the kid interact with somebody who looks different and normalize it because the
Mm-hmm.
next time they see it, they won't be like, "Oh my god, what is that?" It's kind of just trying to normalize it so people don't really have that feeling of being embarrassed because they look different or and it's the stigma that comes along with being somebody that's disabled. But no, I'm honestly I know people are. This is where it's tricky because it's hit or miss. Because you sometimes have amputees that don't want to talk about it. They are
Okay.
very self conscious, but I am the person that welcomes it. I would much rather have that than just have everyone just have eyes on me. It's like you want to ask me a question, ask me a question. Like it's I totally get it because listen, would I be staring if I didn't have a prosthetic leg? Probably, honestly. I can't say like I remember a time before I lost my leg that I saw an amputee and I was just staring at them, but I probably would be like, oh my god, like that's tough. Like I wonder what they go through in their everyday life. And it's like, listen, I can guarantee you they're not they're not harping on their disability as much as other people are.
And I'm sure you don't see yourself like, obviously you use the term disabled, but you can't see yourself that way because then it'll be something not something you're telling yourself, but you're going to see yourself as different than everybody else. When the most, I think that the healthiest view to have on it is to just be, I just don't have a leg. That's it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm disabled, I'm not broken.
Right.
That's
That's it.
literally that's what I always say. It's crazy because I was at a restaurant with my parents. I think somebody walked in, and or like a couple walked in, and one of the people they were in a wheelchair, and my dad was just like, like I'm just like it's tough seeing that. And I literally looked at him, I'm like, how can you say that with your daughter who's literally disabled? I'm like, he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I guarantee you, like, I guarantee you they do not view themselves as that. So there is no reason for you to feel sorry for them. There is
Right.
absolutely no reason for you. Look at him. Like, he's literally at a restaurant, he's enjoying dinner with his probably wife. Like, that doesn't mean like his life sucks. Like, if his
Right.
life sucked that much, would he be dining at a nice restaurant right now? Like,
Probably not.
probably not. Like, it's crazy because it happened. Like, I think it's maybe the older generation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, because back in the day they didn't have the type of resources that we have nowadays. Prosthetic legs have come a very far way in the last 10 to 15 years, ever since the Boston Marathon. I feel like they've just stepped up their game. And so, like, when I became an amputee, they were already in that movement of having these incredible legs that do incredible things. So I get it. Like, the older generation, it just, they didn't have that back then. They didn't have like the Paralympic Games being like on the rise and becoming popular, and just watching these athletes and just being like in awe of them, because they're not just performing at a high level for somebody who's a Paralympic athlete. Like, a lot of these athletes, they can beat able-bodied athletes, and I've
Yeah.
seen it. It's insane. It's crazy.
I
We are literally the same person, same as any Olympic athlete training for the Olympics. The Paralympians are literally showing up every single day. They're doing the same workouts. We just have a disability that goes along with it. And so, like, obviously we have to adjust certain things. Obviously, like, we have, other challenges that somebody who's training for the Olympics, but it's honestly like, okay, it's like an Olympian dealing with a nagging injury that they have to figure out every single day. It's the same thing, but it's different. It's just,
right.
you
I
can
saw this
relate.
story recently. It was this guy, he was talking about how he felt bad for this guy that was in a wheelchair, and he was talking to the guy in the wheelchair. He's like, "Wow, I feel so bad for you." He's like, "Why do you feel bad for me?" He's like, "Oh, you're confined to the wheelchair." He's like, "I don't know if you realize this, but like 100 years ago, we wouldn't have had wheelchairs. I would have been bedbound.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have been able to do anything. I would have had a wooden wheelchair, someone pushing me around. I couldn't have gone anywhere." It's just, it opens the world for you, and I think most people see it as a limitation rather than something that
Absolutely.
helps you.
Yep. And like I said, technology is just, it's insane. I have prosthetic legs for everything now. Like, when I'm in the gym lifting weights, I have a prosthetic leg specifically meant for that. When I'm on the track, I have a leg specifically for that. But here's the tricky part where it comes in. It's like, I'm very fortunate because I am able to have these resources because I have sponsors, and I have the means to be able to afford these different types of legs. There are a lot of people out there that don't have insurance, or they do have insurance, but insurance doesn't pay for a running blade. They don't pay for a waterproof prosthetic. And these legs can range anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000. So this is where that part is becoming a huge problem, because a lot of these insurance companies, they view running as, something that shouldn't just be like an everyday thing. They view it as a leisure. And it's like, okay, well, do you wake up every single day and can you literally just go outside and go for a run?
Hmm.
Yes. But why shouldn't anybody else with a disability, like with a prosthetic leg, why shouldn't they be able to have that? And luckily there are incredible organizations out there that are, fighting the court system and trying to get bills passed in each state. And I've heard of some early success, and I'm really hoping that it can get to a point where they can have, where each amputee can have an everyday walking prosthetic, and they can also have a running blade, because,
Hmm.
or not even a running blade, just a specialized prosthetic like a waterproof leg, because a lot of these everyday legs are not waterproof. So if you want to go to the beach or you want to go to the pool, you are expected to take your leg off and go in it, or you can't go in the water with your legs. So it's crazy. But luckily there are also a lot of foundations out there that support amputees, and that's where, like, a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize the resources that they can have it by just applying, and trying to get granted with a running prosthetic.
So you have the Born to Run Foundation, correct?
Yes.
How did that come about? Did you were you reached out by someone or?
No. So this was back in 2018. I just started playing lacrosse again. And, going through everything that I went through with lacrosse and being able to return, being the first above the knee amputee to ever play collegiate lacrosse, I really wanted to portray that message out to the world. Like I said before, like if I can do this, then so can any other amputee. I had received 3 different specialized prosthetics from 3 different incredible foundations. And so seeing the work that those foundations do for other amputees, that's really what inspired me. And it made me realize this is something that I needed to do. I needed to give back all that support and the helping hands that I received and portray the message out to the world that just because you have a disability, it doesn't mean it has to limit you. And
Mhm.
I have an incredible family, and I brought this to their attention. I have an amazing uncle in California and another aunt in Massachusetts who is a lawyer. So they honestly put the foundation all together for me. They did everything that needed to be done. And then we were able to donate our first prosthetic leg my senior year of college.
That's so cool.
Incredible. And it was so amazing. And I believe we've been able to help 40 amputees since then. So like every year we just try to grow it as much as possible. We try to raise the money so that we can help as many amputees as we can. But that's the main goal, is creating a community and working with other foundations. Like I never view like somebody else having a foundation as like competition. Like
Yeah.
it's what the world needs. There can never be too much of it. I like whenever someone is in a good spot for like in their a Paralympian, and they always ask me like, why Noelle, why did you start the foundation? It's like, because look at all that we're fortunate for, like, we're competing at such a high level. We have
Mhm.
access to all these prosthetic legs. It's, if you can do it, if you can start a foundation, even if it's something small, like our foundation isn't the biggest thing ever. It's literally, it's a small community, and if you can do it, just being able to give back and help that next generation of athletes, like that's the most important thing. And here's where you want to grow the Paralympics as much as possible. You want it to be competitive. Like when I am showing up at national championships, I don't want to be just competing against myself. I want to be competing against other competitors with my disability. I am not the only above the knee amputee woman in the United States. And
Mhm.
there are tons of other amputees and people who were athletes that this happened to, people who are born with a disability that, I mean, but listen, if you don't want to be an athlete, I get it. It's not like something like, oh my God, you need to do this. It's just
Right.
it's such an incredible opportunity because you're a part of a community. Like that's been my favorite thing of being a part of the Paralympics. It's just being a part of this community where everyone understands and respects each other. We understand the hard work that it takes to get to where we are. And it's just things that we can learn and grow from. And I think it's amazing.
With the prosthetic leg costs, I know you mentioned they range from 10 to 30,000. How honest is the prosthetic leg business? I know people have to make money in that, but I know insurance companies will pay it. Do the companies overcharge, or is it pretty like, this is what it costs, we're going to sell it to you just enough to keep the business afloat? Is that how it works, or is it?
Listen, I can't speak on like should this cost that much because I'm not in the room making it. You know what I mean? I know how
Right.
difficult it is to make certain legs, especially like my everyday walking prosthetic. It has a microchip inside of it,
Wow.
and I have to charge it every single night. So it basically what it allows me to do is walk down the stairs, put all my weight on it, and it'll
Hmm.
lower me down slowly. It's a very high tech leg. There are legs out there. There are knees out there alone. When I say alone, like the knee alone, not including the foot, not including the socket, $80,000 knee. There's another one that's
Oh
$120,000.
my God.
Insurance will never cover that for, an average person. Usually the people that are wearing these legs are either the professional athletes or people in the Marines or somebody who's just really rich and they can afford it. Do I think they should be that much money? Absolutely not. I think that's
Hmm.
ridiculous. But again, I don't know what goes into making these prosthetic legs, so I can't speak on it. What I will say, and this is what I can speak on because having a foundation, and working with different prosthetic companies, it's crazy some prosthetic companies, they try to overcharge foundations. And so we always remind the prosthetic company that we're working with, listen, we're a small charity. Like, we
Mhm.
know you love your patient. We know you want to see the best for your patient. What can you help with? And you, 9 times out of 10, they will come back and they will give us a reduced estimate or a reduced quote. And
Mm.
it's, I don't know what they're taking off. Because listen, I have an incredible prosthetic company that I go to in New Hampshire. I've been going to the same one ever since I lost my leg. And so the only thing that I can is, in the beginning when we started this foundation, we would literally send the quotes to this prosthetic company and be like, hey, like, is this legit? And usually they are legit. Like, there's I get it, but it's crazy that it costs this much. Like, I literally just had to get an everyday socket because, you know, I'm pregnant, I'm gaining weight, and I'm gaining volume in my leg. So that's been a huge struggle just to deal with that, with the pregnancy.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, everyone's complaining about being pregnant and they're not an amputee. It's like, I have to deal with fitting. Like, literally every day I have to put my leg on and hope for the best and make it and just have it be comfortable. And luckily I have an incredible prosthetic company that I literally show up every week and we try to make adjustments to make it work. But I literally just got a new everyday socket, and it came back for like $8,000. And but I have insurance, so
Mhm.
insurance covers a very good portion of that. But it's insane, and
Eh,
that's how I know it's real, because they're not gypping me. Like,
right.
I know them very well, and it's crazy. It's insane.
I'm sure the manufacturing of all the really intricate pieces, I mean, it has to work every single day. It can't just like break on you when you're grocery shopping.
No,
Um,
it has to be perfect. And
mhm.
that's where it's so tough, because when you're getting cast every day prosthetic leg or your running blade, you need it to be perfectly comfortable, because if
Yeah.
there's one spot that's bothering you, it's not going to go away. It's going to continue to bother you. So you are doing these, they'll cast you with, it's like literally getting casted for like if you needed a cast for broken arm or something. Like,
Yeah.
they kind of use the same thing. They mold the cast on your leg, and then they take it off, and then they heat up a piece of glass, and they put it over the socket, and then they will
Hmm.
do a check socket, and it's basically like a glass check socket. And
Wow.
that's where they can see like if certain spots are irritated, and then they can also mount it on a leg so you can walk with it. So they try to perfect it before they actually cast it into the carbon fiber and what it is now, because they want to make it perfect. Because if something is off, then they have to redo the whole thing, and it's expensive process. So
Mhm.
there's so much that goes into it, and that's why it's very difficult for a lot of amputees. You know, mine's pretty self-explanatory. Like, I don't have any like spots that are sticking out. Like, usually below the knee amputees, they struggle like with making a very comfortable socket because of the knee joint,
Yep.
and having it come up that high, if it needs to come up that high, and fitting around it. So it's tough. And so usually the bottom of a below the knee amputee limb is bigger, because there's bone, and then it gets skinny. So it's like, how do you cast something where it's bigger and then skinny and then it's suction? So you have to make it perfect. Like, you have to be able to get your leg on.
Mhm.
It's crazy. And that's why the prosthetic companies are incredible. The people that you work with are incredible. You want to have that really comfortable and close relationship with them, because if you're not feeling comfortable in your legs, or that's on you, and that's on the prosthetic company, but that's on you for not communicating it.
Yeah, and like completely different. I couldn't imagine it's way different. Nothing can compare to getting fitted for a leg. But like hockey skates, you have this one little spot, and it's not something you have to wear every day, and though you get blisters. It's
Yes.
it's
It,
horrible.
it's literally it's honestly like that. And what I will say is, I get blisters on the bottom of my limb, and I'm like, well, it's like breaking in like a new pair of shoes. It's
Mhm.
just, there are spots that you can toughen up on your limb, And like every amputee is different because I will train with some amputees in California where they have a blister and they literally will not put their leg on for 2 days because they need the blister to heal. If I have a blister, I don't know. I was just used to training through it
Hmm.
when I first became an amputee. I would take my leg off and I would have blood in the bottom of my
Oh,
socket and it would be bleeding, but I just try to grow that callus so that I don't have to worry about it. And usually, I mean, they have like ointment and stuff. Usually, when I put the ointment on, I can't feel it. So it's just, but that is a great comparison. It's honestly like the same thing. Like you don't want if it's like if you wear a pair of sneakers. Say if you're marathon training and you're literally training in I don't know like shoes that are not meant for it. I'm trying to think like canvas Rex, like literally ones that have like a flat bottom. Like, you're not going to be running 26 miles with
yeah, you
that.
might run a mile. Wow, my heels hurt. Holy.
Yeah, like you need that cushion. You need
Hmm.
something. So it's just something that you have to get used to, and you have to adapt to.
Are there any challenges that you have to deal with that not obvious challenges, but like little things that you notice that most people wouldn't even think of?
I mean, obviously, there's probably a ton, but like it's to the point now where like
Yeah,
I don't even think of it. But
that
what I
makes
will
sense.
say right now, like with the pregnancy and dealing with that, if there's any pregnant woman listening, like I just want you to think about literally not being able to fit into your leg, like and not being able to walk. It's just something that I've been dealing with this whole pregnancy, and I'm like, oh my god, and it's just so expensive to get another one, and so like you don't want to get another one, but like you kind of have to. I'm trying
Hmm.
to think. Just walking up the stairs, never take for granted walking up the stairs one after the other because I go 2 steps at a time or like just because my knee, like if I wanted to, like I could get it to swing back and go forward, but it's just slow. Like
Right.
I don't want people waiting on me, so I just go two at a time. So that's just the one everyday struggle that I deal with. There's probably so many things, but
Yeah, it's probably hard to pinpoint it because you have to deal like it's just faded into the background. You just don't even
yeah.
notice it anymore.
Yeah, I probably call it out all the time to my husband. Like he'll say something, I'm like, "Shut up! Like you don't have to deal with that."
Going back to track, I forgot to ask this. Who motivated you to start track? I know you said that you called around a couple weeks before and see what there was to do, but was there any specific person that got you into track?
Yeah, so someone when I returned playing again, and when I scored a goal in my first game back, it got some national attention a little bit. It was on like Sports Center top 10, and someone from the track and field world reached out. She's an athlete and asked me if I've ever thought about competing. And so that's really kind of where I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, I want to do this. But when I was in the hospital, actually, the Rio Olympics were going on in 2016. And I remember seeing an ad or I remember seeing something about the Paralympics. My doctor came in the room and he was like, you could do the Paralympics now. Like, and he was trying to find a sport that would be similar to lacrosse. He was like, well, maybe you could throw javelin. I'm like, I don't want to throw javelin. I don't think I'd be strong enough to throw javelin. With an above the knee amputee too. Like, it's like, how am I going to get
Hmm.
the balance to do that? Listen, I see people do it all the time who are above the knee amputees. Very impressive. But I was like, no, like I would want to do something like maybe like running or something. And so that's really where the first initial thought came into play. And my mom, my parents, they were like, well, maybe you could be a Paralympian. And then so when I graduated, the excitement of being able to potentially call myself a Paralympian, being able to represent the United States, represent my
Yeah,
country,
so
and to
cool.
be able to wear a badass Team USA uniform. I mean, that's really what the motivation was in the beginning. I was like, this is something I want to do. And I didn't have to become a wash up athlete just yet. Like I could try to
Just
ride,
yet.
yeah, I could try to ride it out as long as possible.
I can't get over you were the first um amputee to play D1 lacrosse, right?
Yep, I was the first above the knee amputee to play Division One lacrosse. Yeah, and
Has there been any sense?
I know there's been below the knee amputees. I'm not sure about an above the knee amputee. Yes, I don't know if any in college yet because they're younger, but I
Okay.
mean, the younger I mean, listen, whenever I like meet kid amputees, they're just so resilient. It's insane to watch. It's awesome. And it's crazy because like whenever I meet like a kid who loses their leg and they're a below the knee amputee, like I try to get them so excited. Like I know it's so difficult because in the moment they're in the hospital, they
Hmm.
just lost their leg, but I just want to tell them, listen, like you have a knee, like you're still going to be able to do whatever you want to, especially if they're an athlete. I'm like, listen, yes, it's going to slow you down a little bit, but it's you're going to be able to figure it out, like the
Hmm.
technology with it. And then whenever I meet an above the knee amputee, like I just try to I try to relate to them and be like, listen, like I never let it stop me. Whatever sport you want to try, like if they are an athlete, like just never let that limit them. I see above the knee amputees. There's this one girl in Denmark doing gymnastics, doing flips in the air. Like it's insane. And I'm like, I didn't even think this was possible. And it's everyone always thinks that it's not possible until they see somebody that can do it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And I hope that I can open the door. I know for Survivor, there hasn't been an amputee since me that's been on, but in a different country there was an above the knee amputee. I forget what country it was, but like Survivor has like different like they have a show in different countries. I literally just saw actually recently in Greece, there's like a Survivor Greece, and a dude literally just lost his leg during the competition,
What?
propeller blade, like.
Oh my God.
And I literally was like, he'll be good. Like, no, no, there was another guy that, because I was on the American version, he was trying to get on for years in his country, and they didn't let him on because of his disability. But then they ended up calling him and they casted him to be on. And I want to say he won. I can never figure out how to watch like different countries
Yeah.
Survivor. But I think he did very well. He made it very far, and he was above the knee amputee. So at least I opened the door for like other countries and stuff like that. I'm sure I'm not going to be the last on Survivor. Like I really hope I'm not the last. I really hope I
Hmm.
didn't, paint a bad picture with
No.
production. Oh my God, this girl was a pain in the ass. I don't want to deal with anybody like that.
Well, I mean, you're probably not going to get back on Beast Games, but
Probably not. Yeah, I don't think I would want to go
oh
do
yeah, I
that.
was just in it for the money. I thought I was going to get paid, so that's why I
Honestly,
went.
like unless it was guaranteed money, I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it.
I saw this story talking about you opening the door for someone, for everybody. It was about, I believe, like the mile time in like 1950. I think it was like people were trying to break like the 4 minute or 3 minute mile mark, whatever it is, and nobody could do it until one person did it. In that same year, 20 or 30 different people broke that time just
Yes.
because he did it, and it was stuck that way for like 20 or 30 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, see? It's just people just literally need to see somebody else do it to
Hmm.
give them that motivation, honestly. And it sucks that like there's only a few people that want to be the first to do it. And that's what I encourage anybody listening. Just put yourself in uncomfortable positions, even if it's never been done before. Like, listen, I go through self doubt all the time. Like, I doubt myself, but I just use that as fuel. I always use that as motivation, and make it a reason as to why I need to do it, because why can't I? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
why can't I do this? And just have fun with it. I mean, like, it's just never take life too seriously. I always tell myself that, like, listen, I show up every single day to practice, and I find something to fail at, but I show up the next day and I just try to accomplish it.
So we are at the hour mark. I talked to whoever over there at your management group, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Um,
Blue sky.
yes, that's it. Um, is there any other thing you wanted to cover? Is there any message you wanted to tell everybody?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we covered everything about my story, but like I said, with whatever you do in your life, you want to find what your why is, and whatever that answer may be, use that to fuel you, to motivate you. Always think what you want your legacy to be, like what do you want to leave behind, and why are you doing this? Find that inspiration, find that support. If you don't have that support system in your family life, find it in your friend life, in your coworker, in your work life. It's honestly, social media is such a huge thing nowadays. Find people with similar goals as you, find people who are accomplishing something that you want to accomplish, reach out to them. Never be afraid to kind of be vulnerable in that aspect. Just ask for help. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger, honestly, in my eyes, because you're recognizing that, you know, you need a little bit of help, and that's okay.
Awesome. So I'll link down all your social media in the description. Thank you so much for coming on. It
Awesome.
was a pretty good conversation. I learned a lot about
Yeah.
the amputee world. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me.